Welcome to Righteous Vibes. We are going to be today interviewing Joseph Smith in connection with his recent release of the song "See Clearly." This is my wife Naomi, and together we're going to try to get behind the scenes of this, what I would say, a phenomenal song. I like this song so much. I like the music, but I like the message. The message behind the song is so fitting for this time, and we're gonna talk to Joseph concerning this. Naomi.
Yeah, so Joseph, we just want to know who Joseph is. And so if you can tell us a little bit about yourself, that would be great.
Awesome. Well, hello everyone. My name is Joseph Michael Smith. I go by the artist name J.M. Smith. It's just my first two initials. Reason being is because if you know history in regards to religion, Joseph Smith was the founder of the Mormon Church.
Right.
So in order to kind of differentiate myself, I don't look anything like him, and so I just decided to go my initials and my last name. But yeah, I was, you know, born in Brooklyn, New York, but raised um, in a Caribbean household. I lived in Guyana with my parents for a few years when I was a teenager. They started a home for street children there called a sanctuary, where they have been serving faithfully for 15 years. And then I came back to the United States to go back to school for college. I did my undergrad in sacred music at Nyack College. Served in multiple churches in their music ministry, whether it was with children, young adults, or teens. And I've always had a passion and desire for music and specifically worship. And my journey led me here. God brought me to New Jersey, where I've been serving with Christ Church as a volunteer and for a brief time on staff in the music ministry. And I'm just excited because the beautiful thing about life and the journey that we're all on is that, we take these turns, we go these directions, and all the while God is with us. All the while God is leading us. And so I like to consider my life as this beautiful journey, where wherever He's leading me and going with my family, we will go. And speaking of family, I'm married to
Oh,
my
good
wife
thing.
Joanne Smith, and we have all together we have four children, ages from 2 all the way to 13.
Mm.
So yeah.
Okay, so you kind of cleared up my number one, number two, number three questions in that one opening. That's good. So, what kind of motivated you to like become a singer and a musician? And in the same breath, I'm going to ask you if you are a producer as well and a writer.
Mhm. Well, what motivated me was I think sometimes the God puts desires in our heart at a young age. So even when I was a kid in school, one of the things that I used to have as a consistent part of my education was not just me learning my ABCs and one, two, threes, but I always had either a female pretty much that was sitting next to me that would say, "Stop singing," because in every grade I was either humming a tune or I would set up my textbooks as a drum kit, and I'm there with my pencils, and while the teacher is teaching, I'm in my own world daydreaming. I always was a dreamer. But music was a specific part about that. And so I started learning the piano when I was 8 years old. I started singing in ensembles when I was 10. And that started cultivating pretty much for me in the church. And so music was not just music, music became music and worship. Music became a result of a relationship with Jesus Christ. And in regards to what I've been, what that kind of led to is those little hummings was melodies. I didn't realize what they were back then, but they are now that I know and I have an understanding of music. Those were melodies, which led to songwriting. And
Hmm.
songwriting is something that kind of birthed because if you don't believe it or not, I used to not only do writing of songs, but that led from writing poetry,
Right.
and which
Right.
led to rapping. I
Hmm.
used to rap in a group called Next Stop. Uh, Specifically, first we were called one B two B, once blind, twice born, which then grew into another ministry called Rep Christ, which then grew into a ministry called Next Stop.
Is
But
that
that's where my
here?
songwriting
Was
came
that
from.
here in the U.S. or was that in Guyana?
That was in the United States. That was actually in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, I, I
We
I
kind
think
of
I saw one of those videos. Yeah.
Yeah, we came out of the ministry, one of my older churches, the Brooklyn Tabernacle. We were part of that youth ministry there, and we kind of developed from there. And so that's where my songwriting kind of came from. I already had songwriting under my belt in regards to poetry and spoken word, and it just developed more and more. So I do write my own songs. I do produce as well. And and just to kind of clarify for people who may not know, production is not only being able to do the musical production, but it's basically being able to take something from point A to point B and being able to say, I
Exactly.
want this, I want that.
Exactly.
And so I was able to do that a lot of the times. I even produced on the song See Clearly, for example. I was the one that was playing the keyboards on that one, the
Okay.
piano. And
Mm-hmm.
then I partnered with Vinestro, who's a producer that I met in Brooklyn
Mm-hmm.
from one of my old churches. And I just remembered him. I worked with him on another project that we were doing together. I asked him to help me with that, and I loved his passion. I know we're talking about See Clearly, so that's why I'm adding this in. But I loved his passion. I love that he was able to be a visionary. And that's something, if we could talk about that, I'd love to talk about that for a moment. But
Oh
he's a
yeah, absolutely.
visionary.
We'll get to that. That's my favorite area there.
Oh, awesome! Because he's a passionate person, and he has that. When it comes to creativity and imagination, he's like has this childlike creativity and imagination, which I kind of feel
Nice,
like I have
nice.
as well. So I worked really well with him thus far in the projects that we have done already and what we're going to do. And so that's kind of like what culminated in regards to my producing and writing and this season of releasing music.
All right. So before we go on to say anything too far, we can probably talk a little bit more about Finestro and his production work. I heard also of the other song that you did. Uh, um, I think we can talk about that one another time as well. But I really love the shift of the genres, and he did that so well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the next song is a totally different kind of breed of song, right? And
Yeah.
listening to this production, I hear a lot of instrumentation, like there's that lead guitar part. How about if we just listen to that song a bit, and then we can talk a bit about?
Sure.
Shackled, my hands are tied, bound by their bitter lies. Can't seem to see straight. Blood covers their eyes. I can see clearly now. I can see clearly now. The truth is coming out. The truth is coming out. Marching in one place, praying for God's grace. A target of their hate, it won't steal my faith. I can see clearly now. I can see clearly now. The truth is coming out. The truth is coming out, yeah. I can see clearly now. I can see clearly now. The truth is coming out. The truth is coming out, yes. If colors are beautiful, yes, why you treat us like we're unusual? Take the blindfolds off your face so we can run this race together. Together. We need each other. We need each other. Sister, brother. I can see clearly now. I can see clearly now. The truth is coming out. The truth is coming out. I can see clearly now. I can see clearly now. The truth is coming out. Justice is coming down.
Great. Well, there's a lot going on there. One of the things I noticed, like the songs are so like authentic, like the drums. Was that like a real drum kit involved, or was that studio stuff?
Well, I don't want to. I don't know if I can give out too much of his
Okay,
secrets,
okay, all
but
right.
what I would say is that he was able to get that from not someone that necessarily did it for this session, but it was an authentic drummer who released a kit that he had that worked on very popular artists' songs, and he was able to use that because he was something that he already had in his back pocket. So he was able to use that. The guitars are actually him playing. He plays the guitars
Right, well,
too.
you kind of went ahead. I was going to ask you about that. Well, I'm a producer
I can
myself,
tell.
and I know some of the difficulties of working with we call it the digital or the soft synths and stuff in the DAW.
Mhm.
And so I was impressed with the drumming, and I'm saying like when you try programming that, that is a nightmare to get that kind of production.
Yeah.
But I know there are a lot of different new software out there, so I'm wondering if I'm like way behind time, with the kind of software. But the drumming was great, and the guitar. I'm saying, okay, no, I can't see myself simulating that on a keyboard. It's got to be someone playing it. So he actually played that. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
Um,
I actually met him as a guitarist first. He became a producer later after that, but he was a guitarist first and bass player.
right now,
Yeah, well, you're talking about a bass player. The only thing, the part that touched me the very first time when I heard, da da dun 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 dun, and I'm like, okay, that grabbed me because I love the bass. I play the bass, and when I heard
yeah,
those,
she's known as the bass
when I
lady.
heard those bass lines, I'm like, every time I'm hearing, you have me hearing this thing in my sleep.
Mm,
That's how nice it is. That's how wonderful.
mm,
When I listen to a song, I like to hear. I usually hear the bass first, and
mhm.
then I listen back to it, and then I listen to the lyrics, and then I listen to everything how it was arranged, and I love the backing vocals. That part at the end there, I'm
Can you
like,
talk about that
yes,
about the back?
yes,
Yeah, so absolutely. So you're talking about the ending of
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the end of the
that
song?
part.
Yeah, so basically what I did was I went to a friend's house. His name is Gabriel Leonard. He's also an artist as well. And I was recording the song, and we were like, he was great because it was not just me coming there to, sing and then somebody would click a button, record, stop, he was actually like, yeah, this sounds good. Let's try different things. And he was kind of, we were feeding off each other's energy in that same time. And so one of the things that kind of happened was I was just singing and I was just saying something, and I think I sang the like
Hmm.
that, and he's like, "Oh, that'd be nice," and we just took that idea and we just started building on that, and then on top of that, Finestro, he knew a singer in Russia,
Wow.
name is Rona Ray. She's also an artist,
Wow.
but she has a great soulful voice. Like she is able to really, 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 really sing well in that genre. And so he was like, you know what? It's cool to have you doing all three parts, but let's get a female in here so it sounds more
Hmm.
authentic, like you said. And that's how we were able to get her doing a lot of the oohs and all those different things that really made the track pop.
Well, that's beautiful. One of the things that it kind of slipped me because you touch on a lot of the points that I'm about to ask. All right. But oh my gosh. Go ahead. You asked a question. Is something. Oh, I got it. So, in terms of the like, say the chord arrangements and stuff for the song, was that you already had the chords together before you went to Finestro?
Yeah, yeah. Most of the time, when I come to Finestro, his artist name. But when I come to him, I come with uh, the song ready in my mind, the structure, the arrangement, and then we would kind of break it down in regards to we would break it down even further because not to get too technical, but there's an aspect of music where in today's day and age where songs aren't as long as they used to be, and
Mm-hmm.
that's because of the nature of what the world is. So what I would do is I would kind of come with the concept to him already. So so marching my hands are down. No, right. So I already had that concept. I had the structure how I wanted to arrange it, and then we would kind of come and go back and forth on what parts to add, what parts to take away, what things are we hearing, what things he's hearing, and I trust him a lot. So I might come with
Right.
that structure in mind, and but I would say, hey, I trust you, and whatever you feel is something that you would like to do, let's talk about it. Not everything that is said though happens. Sometimes there may be some things I want that he's like, nah, and then there's some things that he says he wants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Okay.
but having that mutual respect to be like, okay, let's hear each other out, and then from there we find a common ground.
Well, let me ask you something technical about the song. I mean, I started to just like fiddle around a bit on the keyboard there, and I think it's like for the most part it's in like an A flat minor,
Hmm.
right? But you did a beautiful change in the bridge. You kind of modulated to something there. Where did
Hmm.
you go? What key?
So I just went to the B,
Oh, you
B
just went to the
major,
major.
and then back to the A flat minor.
Okay.
Then I went to, and then I went to, then then I haven't played this song. I haven't played this a while. This song a while. Oh, why? Oh, so I went to the so it was, if colors are beautiful. Then I went to the A F sharp major. Then why you treat us like, and I walked it up like we're unusual. Back to A flat minor, and
Oh,
then
that's the point.
take
Yeah.
the blindfold off your face. So I kind of walked it up there,
Hmm.
um, and um, and I think I was trying to find something to kind of break it off because it was in that minor for the whole time, and
Hmm.
also to paint that picture. If colors are beautiful, back to that
Exactly.
major
Exactly.
key. If colors are beautiful, yes. And
Hmm.
then it's all of a sudden that tension comes back when I walk up to the A minor, and then to back down to the E, and then it ends out to the C minor, and then uh, F, walk up back to the A flat, and I did that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's how I
I'm
kind
gonna
of
go I'm
arrange
gonna
it.
go through the chords. I like to like kind of dissect these things for educational purposes. It's beautiful.